Conrad Golden's Unhinged tweet speedrun. Glitchless. Any percent. Start the timer. Now, I was thinking about why so many in the radical left participate in speedrunning. The reason is the lack of work ethic, go fast rather than do it right, and in a Petersonian sense to elevate alternative sexual archetypes in the marketplace, fast as Mario. Obviously, there are exceptions to this, and some people more in the center or right also speedrun. However, they are more sufficient to prove the rule rather than contrast it. Consider how woke GDQ has been almost since the very beginning. Your eyes will start to open. Returning to the topic of work ethic, a speedrunner may well spend hours a day on their craft, but this is ultimately a meaningless exercise and they will ultimately accomplish exactly what is done by less collective time by a casual player. This is thus a waste of effort on behalf of the speedrunner, but more simply, they are spending more of their work effort on something that someone else has already done, and done in a way deemed correct by the creator of the artwork. Why do they do this? The answer is quite obvious if you think about it. The goal of the illusion is speed and desire. So conscious to promote radical leftist, borderline communist ideals and how easy work is. Everyone always says that speedruns look easy. This is part of the aesthetic. Think about the phrase fully automated luxury communism in the context of speedrunning, and I strongly suspect that things will start to click in your mind. What happened to the individual in this? Individual accomplishments of speedrunning is simply waiting for another person to steal your techniques in order to defeat you. Whereas something like intellectual property or patent in this necessary communitarian process. Now, as to the sexual archetype, model of speedrunning in generally, if you have any passing familiar with Jordan Peterson's Border of War and the Jungian psychology, you will likely know where I'm going with this. However, I will say more for the uninitiated. Keep the passage from Maps and Meaning 91 in mind. The archetypal son continues to reconstruct defined territory as a consequence of the assimilation of the unknown, as a consequence of the incestuous, that is sexual recreative union with the Great Mother. In other words, it's a connection between sexuality and creativity that we see throughout time, as Peterson points out with Tiamat and other examples. In the sexual marketplace, which archetypes are simultaneously deemed the most creative and valued the highest? The answer is obviously entrepreneurs like Elon Musk and others. Given that we evolved in each thing we must do have an evolutionary purpose or cause, what archetypes of the speedrunner engage in who is accomplishing nothing new? They are aiming to make new sexual archetype based on speed rather than doing things right, and refuse ownership for the few innovations that can provide their own scene, denying creativity with their very own sexual archetype. This is necessarily leftist. The obvious protest to this would be a glitchless 100% run, which in many ways does aim to play the game as intended, but seems to simply add the element of speed to the equation. The object is ultimately meaningless when one considers how long the game is intended to be played, and net by the creators, even when under 100% conditions. This is still time and effort wasted for no other reasons than the ones I proposed above. By now I am sure I bothered a number of you and rustled quite a few of your feathers. I'm not saying that speedrunning is bad, but rather thinking about the topic philosophically, there are dangerous elements to with it. That is all.